Hey everyone, Elizabeth Sherman from Total Health by Elizabeth, and today I wanted to talk about something called somatotype. I know, isn't that an exciting word? But the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I've been getting a lot of questions about what should I be eating and how much should I be eating, and everyone is so completely different. All of our bodies act completely different. So there's no one diet that's right for everybody. But we can give general guidelines for optimal health in terms of eating based on this thing called somatotype, which is what your body looks like or how it's kind of made. So let me start by talking about what is somatotype. So basically, there are three different types of body shapes. One is, which is what's called the ectomorph. And an ectomorph is someone who's really not necessarily tall, but lean and skinny. This person does not put a lot of muscle mass on their bodies. They might try, but it's very difficult for them to gain muscle. Then on the other side of the spectrum, we have someone that is called a endomorph. And what an endomorph is someone who's very bulky. They gain muscle very easily, but they also gain fat very easily. And then, so when you think about like a power lifter or someone who's, like a wrestler or something like that, they're generally, larger in stature, and so that's generally an endomorph. Okay, now those are the two ends of the spectrum. Now in between those two are what we call mesomorphs, and a mesomorph is just somewhere in there, and we are all pretty much, I don't want to say we're all pretty much mesomorphs, but it's just a matter of, on the continuum, which side you're really on. So why is this important? Well, it's important because I'm sure that you have a friend who is who has done really great on like a vegetarian diet, and maybe you tried it and it just failed for you miserably. You just didn't feel good. You were craving meat. You were craving fat, whatever it was that you were craving, and that diet just didn't work for you. On the other hand, you probably have a friend who did the Atkins diet, or ketogenesis is really happening right now, and maybe you've tried that too, and that's an absence of carbs, and you didn't do well on that either because you felt lightheaded, or you felt just that you didn't have any energy, you felt fatigued, you just couldn't think, and so what happens is, those two diets are pretty much the opposite ends of the spectrum. And so we're all somewhere in the middle. The person who's the vegetarian does really well, or they're probably an ectomorph, okay? So they don't need a lot of protein, and they need a lot of carbohydrates or starches in their diet in order to feel good. On the other end of the spectrum, when we have our endomorph, that's the person who's big and bulky. They do better on higher fat and higher protein diets. So again, we are all somewhere in the middle of that. Now, as far as eating protein and fat and carbohydrates go, in order to feel good and have the body that you want, what we want to do is we want to either be high carbohydrate, low fat, or flip it. You don't want to be both high carbohydrate, high fat. That actually won't work for you. That's just a recipe to gain body fat. But if you, when you bring one up, you just have to lower the other, and vice versa. Okay, so when you're trying out new diets, one thing that you want to think about is where your body is. So are you more on the lean side? And if so, then you want to gravitate towards diets that are higher in carbohydrates and lower in fats. But if you are a stockier person, you're probably going to do better on a lower starch diet and higher protein and higher fat. The other thing to consider when you're looking at what your body type is your type of exercise. So for example, those lean people, they do better in endurance sports. So things like running and cycling and things like that. Their bodies are just equipped for that better. Versus people who are stockier in build, they do better. Their bodies are built more for power type exercises or power type, just activities. So things where you're bursting, so sprints and lifting, powerlifting and things like that. And so really what you want to do is you want to exercise and eat right for the body you have, not necessarily the body you want, because the ectomorph is never going to look like the power builder, and the power builder is never going to do well in an endurance running situation. It's just not gonna work out. So the reason that I wanted to talk about this body shape thing first in my 30 days of live videos, because people have been asking me questions about what should I be eating, how should I be working out, and so as long as we have the foundation of what your body is in terms of type, somatotype, then what we can do is we can actually start to figure out then what activities are best for you, how to exercise, and what types of foods you're gonna do better with. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today. So again, I'm Elizabeth Sherman. I am the owner of Total Health by Elizabeth, and what I am is a health coach, and I help women just feel their best and lean into healthy habits. So if you have questions about, anything about your health, I am more than happy to answer those. I'm doing 30 days of live broadcasting on Facebook Live, generally around 10 o'clock in the morning. And if you have any questions, you can message me if you don't want to put them down in the comments. Otherwise, you can ask any question in the comments and I would love to answer them. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have an amazing day and see you then. Bye.